days, Nickelodeon was kid everything. And you better hope that your house had cable.
Wasn't there to educate you. We were there to have fun, to get slime, to be entertained.
And this is when Dan Schneider arrives, Nickelodeon's golden boy. He created these shows that were hugely successful for them.
No one had ever really done sketch comedy starring kids for kids.
Do me a favor and press the water fountain button there.
Sure. Just push it.
Yeah, when I say go. Okay, go.
You know, in situations like this, I always ask myself, what would P. Diddy do? What would P. Diddy do? I don't know. Hey, let's ask him. Oh, okay. P. Diddy?
What's up?
We can't wake up Shane.
Try symbols?
Yep.
What about sour milk?
Didn't work.
Tell you what. Take this toy helicopter. Put it down his pants.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do. Come on, put it in. Boston! Didn't work. He's still asleep.
Try this.
Shall I? By all means.
This is why I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah. Eat your cereal, kids.
She say nice things about me? Because I will tase her if necessary.
Uh-oh.
I have the taser. We haven't had to use it in a long time. But
I said lots of nice things.
No, I said nice things about you.
Oh.
That's going to get on TV. That's going to get on TV.
Hey, Dan Schneider. I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Vine. 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 Look what you've done to me.
Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth? Check this out. I'm thirsty.
Feels good. My mom says that's why my feet are so big. My daddy is also an amazing inventor. Amazing man, my daddy.
This is the happy freezing baby position. I picked you guys' shoes.
Take a look at this surveillance footage. It shows a Mizzou student who's been missing since Friday. These are the moments before 22-year-old Riley Strain disappeared in Nashville. You can see him stumbling in the road after being kicked out of a bar on Broadway. A worker at a downtown business saw him walk by, but didn't think to call for help.
I see this situation like 3-4 times a day.
Too many people fell down on the floor because of drink. After 2 days, his mother was here. She asked me, she was crying. She asked me about him. If I seen him, I told her I seen him outside, walking the way, but I didn't see him after that.
Strain's parents traveled from their home in Springfield, Missouri to help with the search. Their son was spending spring break in Nashville with a group of friends.
911, what is the address for your emergency?
Hi, I don't have an address. I'm trying to file a missing persons report, and the Central Police is closed, and the sheriff's office said that we couldn't do it there.
Okay, so where exactly are you now?
We're in front of the Central Police precinct. The Central Police precinct on.
Okay, there. 601 Korean Veterans Boulevard and down pull like right across from the Music City Center.
Yeah.
Okay, and is that where you're able to wait for a police officer to come and speak to you?
Yeah, we can wait for an officer here.
Okay, what's the phone number you're calling from?
Oh, my phone?
Yes, in case we needed to reach you back, what is the best number to reach you at? And what is your name, sir?
Braden, B-R-A-Y-D-E-N.
And your last name?
B-A-L-P-C.
Okay. And who is it that you're wanting to report as missing?
We're here on a fraternity formal trip. It's one of my good buddies.
Okay. What is his name?
His name is Riley Strain. Riley, R-I-L-E-Y. Strain, S-T-R-A-I-N.
Okay. Is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
He's white. 22-year-old, 6'5", blonde.
Okay. And what was he last seen wearing?
Outside of Luke Bryan's bar last night at like 10, and then the last time his location on his phone was by the sheriff's office at like 11 p.m.
Okay, and what color clothing was he last seen wearing?
He's wearing jeans, boots, and a half black shirt, half brown, light brown.
Okay, and you said it last showed outside the sheriff's department?
Like around that area by the river, by the sheriff's department over there.
Everyone, today marks a week since a University of Missouri student went missing in Nashville. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tracy Cornett.
And I'm Marius Payton. There's a long list of unanswered questions in this case. So tonight, our Sharon Dankwa spoke with his parents to break down everything we know so far about the night Riley disappeared.
Their night started out right here at the Temple Hotel. Riley and a few of his fraternity brothers were heading out towards Broadway, but now his family is laying out their path from the moment the boys left these doors to Riley's disappearance.
I said, have fun, be careful, I love you. I love you, and that's the last I heard.
It's a heartbreaking end to a Friday night. Michelle Whited says she wishes she could change. The night her 22-year-old son, Riley Strain, went missing. And here's what Riley's family says happened.
When they left Tempo, they went down to, I believe, Miranda Lambert's bar first. Spent probably about an hour and 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer there.
This was around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Riley's stepfather, Chris Whited, says the group of boys went from Miranda Lambert's to Garth Brooks' bar. Then they called Michelle.
He FaceTimed me.
And after that FaceTime, Riley's father, Ryan Gilbert, says the boys came here to Luke's 32 Bridge.
We know he was asked to leave at about 9:45. Riley was put out the bar, and by the time his friend was able to leave the bar, Riley wasn't any longer on the sidewalk. Apparently he had started up 3rd Street.
He told his friends he was heading back to their hotel, but instead a surveillance camera from an escape room on 3rd Avenue North caught this video of him walking by.
That's when he got across the parking lot, when you could see him in the video go down. It's pretty disturbing.
Other nearby cameras caught these. You see Riley turning onto Church Street and then stumble onto Gay Street.
He made it, as far as we know, basically to the James Robertson Bridge, and that's at the critical time where, what I call it, when things went dark.
What we don't know or have video of is where he went after this last Life 360 ping near the James Robertson Parkway Bridge at 9:53 p.m.
We would like to see a little bit right before the parking lot to kind of know what was happening before the parking lot. And then we'd also like to know what happened after he crossed down onto Gay Street, because there's such a void that we haven't seen. There's something there that's going to fill some gaps.
Our whole heart is out there somewhere, and we need to find him.
The ABC is investigating to see if Luke Bryan's bar overserved Riley and broke state law, but the bar says Riley only had 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters while he was there. Metro Police say no foul play is suspected, and they are treating this as a missing persons case.
The bar says Riley only had 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters while he was there. Metro Police say no foul play is suspected.
A wallet, a cell phone, something to that effect, but so far we haven't found anything like that at all. We have to scrutinize that information. Every tip that we get, we look at.
The Office of Emergency Management says boats will be back out on the water tomorrow using sonar.
Authorities are not the only ones searching for Riley. Many throughout the Nashville area and even farther out are looking for the 22-year-old. One family told us they drove down from Franklin, Kentucky to help in this search.
They told me that they actually spoke to the Tennessee Alcohol and Beverage Commission this morning. The commission asking them for more details about Riley, assigned to them that this investigation into whether he was overserved at Luke Bryan's bar is ongoing. You mentioned that statement from the bar. Let me read a little bit of it to you, giving us a new timeline of what happened at Luke Bryan's bar. It goes, during Riley's visit to Luke's 32 Bridge, our records show he purchased and was served 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. At 9:35 p.m., our security team made a decision based on our conduct standards to escort him from the venue through our Broadway exit at the front of our building. He was followed down the stairs with 1 member of his party. The individual with Riley did not exit and returned upstairs. Family told me that Riley was at that bar with about 8 to 10 of his friends. Now, Mark, this all started last Friday, a week from today, when Riley was in town for a fraternity event. As you were saying, Luke Bryan's bar was the last place he was seen. He told his friends after being escorted out that he was going to go back to the hotel. It appears he went the opposite direction. The friends didn't see him back at the hotel, so they called 911 about 16 hours later, around 1:45 on Saturday.
So they called 911 about 16 hours later.
Since then, the family has been not concentrating as much about what happened at Luke Bryan's bar, but where he was last seen, saying that that is what they want to know more about.
We're still concentrating on the final bridge that he never came out from under. That's what we're looking for is him. That's where we want the answers. Anything that happened up to that point, we'll deal with when we can.
Tonight, a break in the case of missing University of Missouri student Riley Strain. More than a week after Strain disappeared while on a fraternity trip in Nashville, his bank card is discovered on an embankment by the Cumberland River. There was also a body discovered in the river today, but it is believed to be Riley. News 2's Nikki McGee is live for us right now with the latest. Nikki?
Yeah, Kinley, well, today I've been speaking with 2 girls who have been searching this area behind me. This leads up to the Cumberland River, and I want to show you, you can take a look down here. It's just filled with lots of debris and lots of trash, so certainly more spots to check, but they do tell me at the very bottom of it is where they did discover Riley's credit card. Family have since been on scene, as well as detectives talking to these girls who made the discovery. Family tells me police have told them OEM is on the way to check out the area in a boat once again. Right now, Riley's parents tell me they're on the way to talk to detectives at Metro Police and review some more surveillance footage. Now, these girls who found the credit card say they do encourage others to come out and help out with this search and certainly work to raise awareness. Both of them are putting themselves in Riley's family shoes and hoping this case doesn't go cold.
I look more into cold cases, I guess, ones that are from like the 90s and the early 2000s that are unsolved. And I spend a lot of time digging into those, and I'll actually privately message officers and stuff like that, going back and forth with that. But I lived 20 minutes away from this, and so once I heard it was happening and nothing was happening, Tuesday night I came down here with my boyfriend and we were like, let's go walk it.
Carrie Birmingham's last words to his wife Patricia before he killed her with his shotgun outside their home in Spring. In the video you can hear he fired 3 times.
Hope it was worth it.
This all going down while their teenage daughter Olivia was at school.
I lost both my parents that day. My dad died that day too, because the person who did that to my mom and my father aren't the same person.
Patricia and Carrie had roughly a 30-minute argument leading up to the shooting.
And nothing's good.
Audio we obtained of several minutes prior to the video became a large part of Carrie's crime of passion defense.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done too.
Carrie had allegedly learned Patricia was having an affair, the two's argument getting more and more heated.
Don't blame him.
Carrie's defense attorney, Anthony Osso, says they pled guilty directly to the all-female jury. He says their strategy was to accept responsibility, but convinced jurors Carrie shot Patricia in the heat of the moment.
We never tried to justify the actions of our client, but the defense wasn't about justification. It was about why he did what he did.
Olivia finds her father's defense questionable at best.
I don't know. That sudden passion. You have to have something, you have to have made that decision within you for a while. I feel like to do that to somebody you really, really love.
This man fatally shot his wife, but was sentenced to only 10 years in prison. Now there's anger at the all-female jury.
He says he was in a state of rage because he had learned his wife was allegedly having an affair. But her family says that's simply not true.
The defense wasn't about justification. It was about why he did what he did.
The evidence was presented to the 12-member jury, which in this rarely happens, consisted entirely of women. In a surprising turn, they allegedly sympathized with the wife killer, sentencing him to 10 years instead of the 20 years prosecutors wanted. Jury consultant Joellen Demetrius.
What this says to me about the all-female jury is that they clearly heard and saw something in that video that made them feel sorry for Mr. Birmingham, whatever that may have been.
The slain woman's sister, Mary Dees, says the family was shocked at the jury's decision.
I believe that they were judging my sister, that my sister did not beg for her life, and she stood strong against a man that supposedly loved her for 20 years and, you know, killed her, executed her.
As for the affair allegation,
he claimed it was in his head that my sister was cheating on him, and they took the computers, they took the phones, and there's no proof of that ever happening.
We also spoke to the couple's 18-year-old daughter, Olivia.
My love for my dad died that day. Even if he's still alive, it's when I look at him, it's not the same person. And of course, you know, he took my mom.
Birmingham will be eligible for parole in 5 years.
Birmingham will be eligible for parole in 5 years.
A judge in Illinois just ruled illegal immigrants have the right to keep and bear arms. So rather than the circle with the line through it, we need like a thumbs up emoji there. The case is pretty simple. Police arrested an illegal immigrant living in Chicago with a gun back in 2020. They charged him for violating the federal law banning illegal immigrants from having guns. Been on the books for a long time. Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman just decided the Second Amendment applies to him, the illegal immigrant, like everybody else, so he can have a gun. In her decision, she wrote that Humberto Flores received and used the handgun solely for self-protection and protection of property during a time of documented civil unrest in the spring of 2020. the summer of love.
In just a matter of hours, we could learn new information surrounding the death of a 13-year-old Central Florida girl found dead after going missing. Kissimmee police are set to give an update in the Madeline Soto investigation. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live from Kissimmee this morning. And Mark, so far no one has been charged with her death.
Yeah, law enforcement says the boyfriend of Madeline's mother is the prime suspect, but he hasn't yet been charged in her death and said he's in jail on dozens of other charges. Now, later today, Kissimmee police say they have an update on the progress of what's been a complex case. For weeks now, the Hunters Creek community has been showing support for Madeline Soto, the 13-year-old girl who authorities believe was murdered by her mother's boyfriend. As many questions remain about what happened, we could soon be getting some answers.
This is still an active and ongoing investigation.
Kissimmee police say they'll be highlighting progress of the investigation today. It comes just over a week after 60 charges were filed against Stephen Stearns, among them sexual battery on a child and molestation. Detectives believe Stearns documented much of the abuse on his phone for years, and it's that discovery that led deputies to arrest him before Madeline's body was found. She was reported missing in February. Stearns told law enforcement he dropped her off at school, but Orange County Sheriff John Mina says that never happened.
Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time, and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day.
Deputies say they spotted Madeline on surveillance video with Stearns, found her backpack tossed in a dumpster, and then discovered her body in rural St. Cloud. Stearns is scheduled to be arraigned on his current charges on April 2nd. The question now is, will more charges be coming after today's update? That's scheduled here at the Kissimmee Police Department at 2 this afternoon. We'll be here and live stream that on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting live.
Of the 8 defendants in the murder and kidnapping of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson appeared in court today in Birmingham for a preliminary hearing. Prosecutors displayed still images from videos taken while Jackson was held against her will. ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson was in the courtroom today. And Gracie, some of the defendants' charges were reduced and even dropped.
Muriel, based on testimony and evidence that was presented during the preliminary hearing, Judge William Bell found probable cause for the defendants to be bound over for grand jury consideration. But like you said, some of the charges were reduced. Brandon Pope, Jeremiah McDowell, Francis Harris, Tasia Lewis, Giovanni Clapp, and Ariana Robinson were all in court Wednesday for the preliminary hearing. The prosecution presented graphic screenshots from videos. All of these were taken while Mahogany Jackson was held against her will before she was murdered. The photos depicted Mahogany being slapped, punched, stripped nude, and forced to perform sexual acts while held at gunpoint. Jefferson County District Attorney Danny Carr discussed the nature of the videos.
Sheer brutality, the barbaric nature of it. You can't substitute that by just the photos.
There are 8 videos total, initially brought forward to law enforcement by an acquaintance who was able to provide copies of some of the videos and direct investigators to Jackson's body. Investigators discovered 3 additional videos late Tuesday night. All 8 of the defendants are seen in a portion of at least one of the videos. Pope, McDowell, and Harris were initially charged with 2 counts each of capital murder. Pope and McDowell's capital murder charge on the basis of rape and sodomy were dropped. Harris's 2 counts of capital murder both carried over. Lewis and Clapp were each charged with single felony murder charges and assault in the 2nd degree. Clapp's assault charge was reduced to 3rd degree assault, which is a misdemeanor. Lewis's assault charge was bound over. Robinson was present in court today, yet her felony murder charge was bound over by another judge. Now, while some of the charges today were dropped or reduced, Judge Bell said that he made it clear that these charges can be brought back at any time by a grand jury.
Prosecutors say all the cases of Mahogany Jackson's death are officially heading into phase 2. Earlier this morning, Blair Green and Senya McCall waived their preliminary hearings. That means their felony murder cases automatically are forwarded to the grand jury. Last week, there was graphic testimony during the preliminary hearings in the other 6 suspects' cases. Jackson was kidnapped and assaulted before ultimately being shot in the back of the head in late February. Video of the violence was captured on cell phones. District Attorney Danny Carr said Jackson's family was prepared for another emotional day in court before the final suspects waived this morning's hearings.
In a messy kid's room is a bear in fishnet stockings with a padlock around its neck and a child's drawing of the devil behind the little boy. This image also has caution tape with the word Balenciaga, a play on the name of the brand and the name of a demonic Old Testament Canaanite god who demanded child sacrifice. Why is this child half asleep on the couch while several wine glasses are blatantly displayed in the foreground? You can't miss them. Why does Balenciaga want a child to be in this picture? Weird and perverse, yes. But wait, it gets worse. See this purse being promoted on Balenciaga's website from the now canned 2023 campaign? At first glance, this just looks like an office-themed shoot. But look closely, under the purse. That paperwork proves to be a document from an actual Supreme Court case that debates the legality of promoting child pornography. Look it up, United States v. Williams. That's a rather bizarre Easter egg. There's no way these documents made it into the photo shoot by accident. Everything on a fashion set is meticulously curated and staged. Look at everything else in these photos, how perfectly arrayed it all is. Balenciaga knew people would see this. The question again is why? Why sell shoes and jackets and purses and shirts with kids, the occult, and sexual deviancy? Speaking of Easter eggs, in the background here, you see a seemingly normal stack of books. But if you zoom in, the most easy-to-read title is Mikkel Borman's As Sweet as It Gets. A quick search of his name led me to find that he's a Belgian painter with some incredibly disturbing work that again includes kids.
How come nobody's talking about that influencer who went missing? His name was Isaiah Bass, and he had around 500,000 followers. His videos were getting millions of views because people loved his clothing designs. And he would always tell his followers to tag Balenciaga because he wanted to get hired and work with them. Now this is where things get weird. So Balenciaga released a jacket that looked similar to Isaiah's. He claimed they stole his design. The one company he wanted to work with so bad allegedly stole from him. So this got Isaiah really angry. So yeah, Isaiah started making videos threatening to sue Balenciaga. A week later, he made a video showing an email of Balenciaga contacting him, apologizing, and telling him to come into the studio. So they finally wanted to work with him, or so he thought, because this gets even crazier. His last video was of him saying that he was going to be flown out to Florida to go to this certain Balenciaga store and possibly have his creations featured in that store. A few weeks later, somebody passed by that store and noticed a new mannequin.
Okay, people, tell me something. So this is a store in Paris, and this is a mannequin that they say they made this and put this in the store. This boy look like somebody dead and bomb. Look at his hand. His hands is as real as mine. This is friggin' serious, I swear. If anybody...
It looked eerily like Isaiah and had his same design jacket on.
It looked eerily like Isaiah and had his same design jacket on.
I contacted Isaiah's family. Isaiah hasn't been seen since. And they even put out a missing person report. Some people believe that that mannequin is actually Isaiah and that the company waxed his body, put him on display as some sort of humiliating and...
If anybody have this guy missing, please... This is crazy. I've never seen anybody look so friggin' real. How you have this man in the store sit down? Look. Look at that shit. You see? This is friggin' crazy. Look at the guy eye. Guys, he's in Paris. If you know anyone that missing a black son look like this, he's in Paris in the store in the window.
One of his paintings depicts images of naked, castrated toddlers soaked in blood. Other Borman's paintings show masked people eating human limbs. Another features dead children and teenagers with dead animals. Another book spotted in the ad is called The Cremaster Cycle by Matthew Barney. Cremaster refers to the reflex that raises and lowers the testicles. Barney's cremaster work is non-narrative and takes concepts like sex, death, and reproduction and gives them the John Waters treatment via a high art lens, thus making images occasionally interesting to look at, but nonetheless debased, self-indulgent, grotesque, and repulsive. There's more here, but let me show you one last thing that again is about children from Balenciaga and Adidas. You see this diploma? The name on it is John Philip Fisher. Search that name and it leads you to a news report about a Michigan man who is accused of molesting his granddaughter from age 4 until she was 16. Well, where is this stuff coming from? Enter Demna Vasalia, the brand's creative director since 2015. Interestingly, Demna got his feet wet in 2014 when he created Vetements. The streetwear collection is wildly popular with celebrities, including Rihanna, Hailey Bieber, and Selena Gomez. The phrase sexual fantasies and drink from me and live forever is splattered across his apparel, and his oversized bomber jacket proclaims total fucking darkness over the symbol of a pentagram. He's this guy who's photographed in that full black mask alongside Kim Kardashian at the Met Gala. More on Kim later. But those full black masks are styled like what might be worn by a BDSM gimp, the sexually submissive partner. And you don't have to go far to see these all over Balenciaga. The brand's spring 2023 fashion show in New York City is teeming with gimp masks and fetish bodysuits, model after model. And we can't skip Lada Volkova. Volkova is a Russian-born fashion consultant who styled Demna's Vetements collection and worked with him on Balenciaga up until at least 2017.
Was getting out of the Uber with her family. They were walking towards their apartment building, the girl walking right in front of the SUV. Now, the driver couldn't see this little girl, not even 2 years old, over the hood of his SUV. He thought he was in the clear as the family was walking away, so he moved forward and ran right over this toddler.
I just heard a lot of commotion outside. And I just came outside and I just seen like blood and a baby laying on the ground.
It's a sight burned into her brain. The child ran over and pinned under the Uber, but it's also one that she's relived more times than she'd ever expected to.
I just rewatched it after everything happened.
Her security camera capturing this video. The moment this little girl walks in front of the SUV, and the moment she was run over and killed. A moment that's so graphic, we've decided against sharing the video.
It was just so traumatic because I was just thinking about my baby, you know, my son or anybody else's kids. It was just so, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even.
But it's this video that's helping the Harris County Sheriff's Office piece together the puzzle of what happened here on Sunday, including the seconds right after, where you can see the family trying to help free the girl. Less than 30 seconds later, an all-out attack on the Uber driver. Several people pulling him out of his SUV and unleashing punch after punch.
He's in serious condition, you know, non-life-threatening, but serious.
The family getting the girl in a car and meeting an ambulance nearby, but it was too late. The 1-year-old girl died at the hospital.
It's just sad to watch and to know because I see her outside almost every other day playing with her little toys and stuff, and just to know that happened to that little baby.
We also know that the people you see in this video aren't the girl's parents. The Harris County Sheriff's Office saying they had to tell them their little girl was gone.
It's just an unfortunate tragedy at this point.
Both the driver and the group that attacked him have not been charged yet. However, that doesn't rule out charges coming at some point down the road. However, the focus right now is preventing any tragedy like this from ever happening again. HCSO saying to parents, please keep an eye on your children, and if you can, just simply hold their hand.
Taking a look at this video, we have multiple parties involved. We have an Uber driver, we have adults who appear to assault that Uber driver. Who can face legal ramifications here?
When we look at the video, obviously the first person you think about is the driver. And to find somebody criminally liable for someone's death, you have to look at their mental state. You could determine somebody intentionally did something, that'd be murder. You could say they knowingly did it, that would also be murder. But then the two that may be applicable here, depends on how you look at things, would be criminally negligent homicide or manslaughter, which basically means reckless homicide. And so depending on the mental state of that driver at the time, that would depend on his criminal culpability.
And as for the other adults in this video, I know that you said caretakers have a responsibility over the safety of the child. Could they be looking at any ramifications?
Yes, the law says that when you have the responsibility of taking care of a child, you have to do that in a reasonable way, in a safe way. And so you might also say that the caretaker of the child could be guilty of criminally negligent homicide if they should have been aware of a substantial and unjustifiable risk, and that could be interpreted to be that a small child going from one side of a car to another to get home unaccompanied by an adult, a jury might determine that that was criminally negligent.
As for the adult who seemed to be assaulting the Uber driver and the video, what does all of this mean for them?
So the law says you can protect individuals and you can protect yourself. Obviously, someone had just been killed, a child had just been killed there, but the law also says the threat has to be immediate. It has to be right then. And at the time that he is being hit or punched by the other people in the video, he does not appear to be an immediate threat to anybody. He's not even moving erratically. He looks confused by what's happened, which also kind of relates to his mental state. When you're trying to look at someone's mental state, you look at their actions before, during, and immediately after the event. And to that part of time, it didn't look like he was a threat to anybody.
At face value, looking at this video, does it seem like there will be any charges pressed on anyone, or was this just a tragic accident?
Not every tragedy involves criminal behavior, and it all relates back to the mental state. And from what I saw in the video, I don't think any person there wanted this to happen, and it doesn't appear that extreme negligence or a gross deviation from the standard of care happened. Because of that, to me, it looks like a tragedy.
Two Broward teachers arrested and charged, accused of crossing the line with students. The schools where the inappropriate behavior happened just miles away from each other.
CBS News Miami's Ted Scott joins us live from Hollywood with the disturbing details. Ted.
Yeah, Jim and Lauren, those details are very disturbing. In fact, some of them too graphic for TV. Now, while these are two separate, unrelated cases, one thing each of them has in common is you have a teacher accused of breaking a sacred trust.
I think it's a great school. This terrible thing happened.
Students at Chaminade Madonna stunned to learn that teacher Boris Bastidas, last year's Educator of the Year, was arrested, accused of having sex with a 15-year-old student.
We're going to pick ourselves back up. We're going to fix the situation. And I get it's a big deal, but we're going to get past this.
The FBI uncovered messages on school and private email where Bastidas reportedly said, "I'm crazy about you." Later, things turning more to a sexual nature. He's accused of messaging, "I'm going to truly corrupt you, and I want us to make love. I want to make our love physical." The FBI said he had sex with the girl in nearby parking lots and on a school trip.
He was a great teacher, so I didn't expect this.
The school released a brief statement saying, "When we were made aware of the allegations, we had a formal investigation, and he was immediately terminated." A few miles away at Driftwood Middle School, also in Hollywood, teacher Felicia Smith was arrested. She's accused of an inappropriate relationship with a female student that involved kissing and fondling at the school.
Your trust goes in the air. Imagine, it's your kid that is in there. It could have been anyone, any kid. It could have happened to anyone.
According to police, the victim's family noticed a mark on the girl's cheek. Another mark was discovered on her neck.
The markings that were on the body were originally thought to be a bruising of some sort. But through the further investigation, they were able to identify that it was from kissing, and it did look like a hickey on the student.
Now, Smith is being held in the Broward County Jail on $150,000 bond. As for Bastidas, he was arrested by the FBI this morning. He's due in federal court in Fort Lauderdale.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
So there you have it. If you live in Toronto, just leave your car keys by the front door. In fact, probably don't even bother locking your front door. In fact, why not just leave the whole place unlocked?
locked. Put your jewelry out on the front porch, maybe your TV out of that, because you don't want to get hurt. All the thieves want is your car and your stuff and whatever else. This is where we are.
What happened? Involving a horrific crime in Edgewater.
11-year-old Jaden Perkins was stabbed to death. His mom, who was pregnant, was seriously injured, and we are learning she begged authorities for help before the attack.
CBS 2 has been combing through court records of the prime suspect and learned that mother alerted the justice system about threats even while the suspect was behind bars.
Our Jermont Terry is always investigating. He joins us now live in the newsroom. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, an emergency order of protection was denied. This pregnant woman, now fighting for her life in the hospital, warned a judge she could be attacked and she feared for her life.
This week, the woman's worries came true when a man we are not naming as we await charges came to her Edgewater apartment and stabbed her and killed her 11-year-old son. Court records obtained exclusively by CBS 2 revealed on the day of the murder and stabbing, the mother and suspect were scheduled to step before a judge at 10:30 Wednesday morning. Keep in mind, the crime happened just 2 hours before that court appearance. Neither the suspect nor woman requesting the order of protection would make it to the courthouse. Instead, the records show the case was dismissed. Last night, CBS 2 first told you how the suspect was released from custody the same day police say he attacked the family. We know he served just under 9 years of a 16-year prison sentence stemming from a 2015 home invasion. In that case, he was convicted after he forced his way into an apartment of his former girlfriend, then attacked her and threatened her 15-year-old son. He then put a gun to the girlfriend's chin, pushed her up against the wall, and began choking her. The ex-girlfriend told me over the phone he contacted her the week he was released back in October 2023. She immediately called the parole board. Yet in the Edgewater stabbing, despite the pregnant mother telling the court she received threatening messages through text and feared for her life, this man was able to get to her and her family.
I don't argue with people no more, man. I don't argue with nobody, bro. I just don't. And let me tell you something. The reason why I don't argue with people, you ever been in an argument with somebody and it is clear, cut, and dry that they are wrong, they are incorrect, and the thing that they said to you, they shouldn't have said, the thing that they did, they shouldn't have done, and they owe you an apology at the end of the day, but they flip it and reverse it and bring up some old stuff you did, and now all of a sudden this whole big scenario you got going on is your fault? They have clearly done you wrong, clearly did wrong, clearly made you feel a certain way based off their actions, irrefutably wrong in this situation, and they flip it on you to make you feel bad and make you feel like it's your fault. An argument at the end of the day is supposed to be progressive. We're supposed to have a dialogue. What happened? Why did it happen? How can we avoid it happening again? And if an apology needs to be said, it is said and done right then and there. People are too ignorant to see things from other people's perspective, and that is the downfall of relationships, is that people lack basic communication skills. That's why I don't argue with people no more, bro. Their perspectives are too jaded, and they're too ignorant and full of themselves to understand that they could be wrong, they might be wrong. They need to have a dialogue to understand what the problem actually is. And then they need to have a solution, because an argument without a solution is a pointless conversation, bro.
Because an argument without a solution is a pointless conversation, bro.
I've been screaming for so long about the TikTok ban that I am out of screams. This is me actually angry. 352 members of the United States House of Representatives voted to ban TikTok today. That's 81%. I want you to think about the last time you heard 81% of our Congress agreeing on anything. Think about anything for the last 4 years. 81%. Shit, to pick the Speaker of the House, it took 18 votes, and he barely got through. Remember that? Remember how many times this year alone, we've had to have votes for the Speaker of the House? But TikTok ban, they're right there. They are voting to ban the complaint box rather than listen to a single complaint on this fucking app. They see us talking to each other. They see us seeing the humanity in each other's eyes. I don't care if you got a red hat or a fucking septum piercing. I hear your complaints and I see the world you're standing in. I'm not reading your tweet out of context. I'm listening to your voice. I've learned so much from this app over the last 2 years, and the biggest thing was to stop judging my fellow Americans like they are on some other fucking team. We are all just countrymen walking around together. We're all just people trying to get to the end of the day. We're all trying to make enough money so we can raise our kids, kiss them on the forehead, and hope that when we send them to school, they come home tomorrow. That's all we fucking want. And instead, has our Congress done anything to move forward on a Voting Rights Act? No. To make sure women can have health care? No. Maternity leave? No. The minimum wage has been stuck at the same fucking amount for 15 years. Have we moved forward on any of these things? No. But we can get 81% of the most corrupt motherfuckers to walk around directly from their country clubs to go to their government job with their government paycheck, with their fucking government car that I fucking pay for. And they can go onto the floor of the House of fucking Representatives that we all fucking pay for and tell us, no, we're doing it to protect your data. We're doing it because we're worried about the algorithm. Meanwhile, my data has been stolen 16 times in the last 5 years. You want to know how I know that? Because I've been in 16 class action lawsuits about my stolen fucking data that I didn't even know was stolen. One day I open the mail, and there's a fucking mailer with a check for $5. Sorry, your fucking data got stolen. Your Social Security was found on the dark web because some chuckle fuck couldn't follow a goddamn regulation that was written in 1973. I am 39 years old. I have been told my entire fucking life that we need 60 votes in this goddamn Senate, and they're about to find it. We didn't have 60 votes to protect any other shit. We got kids going to school every fucking day, terrified they're not gonna go home. We got kids not wanting to give up their phones, not because of TikTok, because they're worried if somebody comes into their school, they want to be able to call their fucking parents to say goodbye. Any movement? Do we have 352 congressmen worried about that shit? No. But oh no, a bunch of tech bros want to buy up all the TikTok data and use it to train AI models to put more people out of work? No, put me in Congress. Fucking put me in Congress then. Write my name the fuck in. I'll line up. I'll take all of their fucking money. I'll take all that goddamn lobbyist money. And you know what? I'll make sure it says paid brand deal in the bottom corner. Because when you're a fucking influencer, you have to disclose where the money comes from. But when you're a congressman, that's the price of freedom.
That's the price of freedom.